Hey, I'm Buzz Thompson from FloridaSPL.com. We're at Colusa Customs, and today I want to talk to you about auto insulation. Now, this is the product that's often referred to as sound deadener or sound deadening, and some people even like to call it Dynamat. That's actually a brand name, and it's sort of become the Band-Aid or Q-tip, if you will, of the industry. But auto insulation is the product we're going to work with. And we're going to work on this 04 Corolla, we're going to work on the trunk and the cabin, and show you how to use auto insulation to protect against noise, vibration, and to control temperature. Let's get started. Now, there are several different types of automotive insulation you can use. There are spray-on materials, and there are self-adhesive mats. We chose Second Skin Audio's Damplifier Pro. This is a butyl-based adhesive mat that has a layer of aluminum foil on it. This is a 20 square foot trunk pack. It's typically enough to fill a trunk or a hatchback area. We're doing it on this automobile because there's subwoofers in the trunk, and it's going to make panels resonate and vibrate. We don't want that in the car. You're going to need a couple of tools to make this happen. First and foremost, a razor knife. You have to have a razor knife to cut this material, especially because of the aluminum foil. You don't want to try using scissors. You're going to dull them out in no time at all. You need to use a roller to help apply it. This helps push the air bubbles out. There are several different contours and shapes inside all automobiles, and you have to be able to use a roller to lay the material down. It helps out a lot. Now, some materials require a heat gun. If it's an asphalt-based material, you're going to have a heat gun to get it to stick. But newer technology has created a butyl type, like we have here, and you won't really need a heat gun, but sometimes it helps. The first step is to remove all of the panels inside the interior of the trunk so you can get to the metal, because that's where you apply it. I'm going to get started on that now. That should be good. Now, we've completely disassembled the entire interior of the trunk. I've gotten it down to bare metal, and I've vacuumed out all the loose particles. I need a clean surface for the pads to stick to. The next step is to take a can of solvent, I'm using paint thinner, and a rag, and clean off the surfaces of any oil or grease. You want to make sure it's as clean as possible so that the mats will stick for a long period of time. We're looking for something that's permanent here. This isn't something you're ever going to remove from the automobile. The stuff isn't designed to be removed, and you want to make sure that it lasts. So, if you clean the surface really well, it'll stick. Now, after you've done this, you need to move on to putting your pad in place. It's always important to measure twice and cut once. You don't want to cut to where it isn't going to work. So, this full sheet, 1.6 square feet, will fit right here. I'm going to peel the backing off, and I'm going to apply it. Now, this is where the roller comes in handy, because there's different textures to this surface, and you want to make sure you adhere completely to it. So, I'm going to grab my roller and force the material down onto the body of the car. Keep in mind, when you're applying the mats, that you have to be able to put the interior pieces back in. If there's something about this surface that requires a clip or a wire or a piece of the automobile that needs to go back in that might be interfered with by putting the pad on, you need to keep it in mind and cut around it. This particular mat will take up this whole piece here, so I don't need to cut any of it. So I'm going to keep doing this to the interior of the trunk, and we'll get this job done in no time at all. Okay, now we're finished installing the first layer of vibration dampener. Sound can enter vehicles in different ways. What we're doing with this product is preventing panels from vibrating and creating new noises. We're going to have a high-powered audio system in this car, and it's going to make things shake and flex and vibrate. We're adding mass to these panels to change the resonant frequency to below the audible spectrum, and we're preventing the panels from flexing by reinforcing them with strength. There's another way that noise can enter an automobile, and that's from outside. Road noise, tire noise, engine noise, anything outside. So what you do is add a barrier product, and that's what we're going to work on next. You know, often the difference between a luxury automobile and an economy automobile is the sound quality inside. In a luxury automobile, they charge more money. They can afford to put more auto insulation in it. so it's quieter. It's a much nicer vehicle for that reason. This Toyota could be like a Lexus if we add more auto insulation, and that's exactly what we're doing. You can see on the floor there's already vibration insulation applied to the panels. So we're on a budget. We're going to leave vibration insulation off of this floor, stick with what's already there, and just add a vibration barrier. We've put auto insulation on every panel inside, including the ceiling, with the exception of the floor, to try to cut back on the cost of this whole project. We chose Second Skin Audio's Luxury Liner Pro. It's this product right here. It's a vinyl barrier adhered to a closed cell foam, and it actually stops airborne waves from entering the car. One of the sources of noise entering a car is the floor, so we're going to apply it to all the floor panels as much as we can by cutting to shape and fit inside of the sections where the carpet goes. We just need to be careful not to put it somewhere that interferes with any of the interior panels going back in. Basically, this product is easy to work with. The goal is to cut it to fit to cover as much surface area of the floor as possible. I use a tape measure to measure the area, use a marker to mark it, and I'm using scissors to cut the product. You can use scissors on this product, unlike the self-adhesive mats, because the scissors will not be damaged. It's just vinyl and foam. I also find the scissors much easier to use than a razor knife, but you can use a razor knife if you choose to do so. No gluing is necessary for this product. It's significant in weight and gravity holds it down. But if you put the product on a vertical surface like we're going to do next, you absolutely have to use spray glue to hold it in place. Alright, we've got the major sections of the floor cut out. I'm working on the small sections here in the back seat. The great thing about this product is you cut it in pieces to fit, and then you use spray glue to put it in place. So as soon as I'm done with the back seat, we're ready to put this thing back together. Alright, we're out test driving an 06 Toyota Corolla. The vehicle we were working on was an 04 Toyota Corolla. They're both 9th gen Corollas, same body style. This should be a fair comparison of the noise floor before we got work done. This vehicle has an RTA sitting on the passenger seat as I drive. I'm on the interstate, and I'm comparing the noise floor. We're going to show you screenshots of this so you can see the difference at different speeds and while we're accelerating. There's a noticeable difference to the ear right now as we drive. Okay, we're back in the 04 Corolla. We've got everything set up the same. I've got the microphone on the dash. I've got the RTA sitting on the passenger seat. And I can see a difference with the cruise control set at 80 miles an hour, just like the last car, between 100 and 300 hertz. The frequency level is lower. The SPL level of that frequency is lower. So we've definitely made a difference. I can hear an audible change in this car versus the other car, especially when I floor it. If I start from 0 and accelerate, there's a big difference in the amount of noise that I don't hear anymore. So this is definitely making a difference. The car just feels more solid. It's a psychological difference. It doesn't make as much noise inside, so it feels like the car is more solid. It's like we're in a tank versus the other car like a tin can. Alright, that about wraps it up. We've shown you auto insulation, 2 different types, how to install it, and the benefits using the TermLab RTA. On behalf of FloridaSPL.com, I'd like to thank Colusa Customs for having us out here. Whew, it's about beer 30, son. Nice.